Hello, my friends of hope. Welcome here back, not as my co-driver this time, but here in my living room as a guest. So today, let's read another short story of my book, In the Name of Hope. Are you ready? Sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. I wanted to say, enjoy the silence. So, what are you doing right now? Sitting in the bathroom? Lying in bed? What are you doing? So wait, let me see. Where are we? Here we are. Okay. This time the story is called The Prince and the Miracles. Hey, my hair is almost as long as on the picture. The Prince and the Miracles. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, lived a young prince. The prince was a reputable man, and the people of the kingdom loved him. It would not be long until the prince was to ascend his father's throne and reign over the kingdom. That was the tradition, and the tradition was always upheld. The young prince was different, though. He didn't think highly about traditions and always had only one wish. He wanted to encounter a miracle. He had often heard about miracles because the stories that were read to him when he was a boy were full of miracles. So it happened that one day the young prince approached his father, the king, and said, "Father, please don't be angry with me, but I only have one wish in my heart. I want to encounter a miracle." The king's heart grew heavy. He knew his son's words meant that he was going to leave the kingdom. Tradition requires you to regain over the kingdom after me. The king paused for a moment before he continued, "But I love you, my son, so I shall let you go. But mind one thing, dear child, in times of deepest need, look around you." The young prince was surprised about his father's decision. He was overjoyed and let himself get dressed with the most magnificent, most expensive robes. "I want to face the miracles gallantly and in the most beautiful splendor," he said to his servants, and rode off by himself into the sunlight kingdom. But the sun soon bid her farewell and was replaced by the dark of the night. "Where am I here?" the young prince asked himself with a shaking voice. Out of the shadows of the night, a dark giant stepped into the prince's way. "Give me all your gold, or I will rip your head off," he demanded. The prince was terrified. "Good sir, I am only looking for a miracle. Please let me go." The giant glowered at the prince and repeated, "Give me all your gold, I will rip off your head." The prince didn't know how else to save himself, so he threw all his gold at the giant, all the money he had to pay for his livelihood in the years to come. Quickly he rode away, and after several hours he came to a river where a ferryman was sitting and greeted him. "Good evening, young prince." "Good evening, good sir. Would you please be so kind to bring me to the other shore? I'm looking for a miracle." Of course, my young prince. I am at your service, but in return, I want your horse and your golden armor. My horse and my armor? The young prince repeated. I'm looking for a miracle. How am I supposed to go on without my beloved horse? But the ferryman did not relent and said again, your horse and your golden armor. The young prince was still dreaming of his miracle, so with a heavy heart he eventually agreed. After the prince had been walking for several hours, he took a break under a big tree. The night was still dark and the moon was the only light. If you want to hang on to life a little longer, give me whatever you carry on you, came a ghastly voice, accompanied by evil laughter. The prince was frightened. There were 7 sinister outlaws with knives standing in front of him. Didn't you hear me? Give us whatever you carry on you, or we will cut your throat. The young prince was shivering with fear and did not as he has told, and he did as he was told. The outlaws took their prey and left. Without clothes, the prince was sitting under the tree, shivering and alone. Good Lord, what have I done? The young prince was deeply shocked about himself. How could I be so naive to believe there could really be miracles in the world? He started to weep bitterly. Tears were rolling down his cheeks. Anguish took possession of his body. Hour after hour went by, and the tears didn't want to run dry. And in the hour of the deepest sorrow, the sun rose over the dark forest. The darkness was replaced by bright light. Everything started to glow again. The green of the trees, the blaze of the colors of the flowers, the reflections in the rivers. The water sparkled like diamonds. All sorrow was gone. With an open mouth he looked around in awe. He indulged in what he saw. Good Lord, how come I didn't see all these years? Only now, after losing everything, my eyes can finally see. I am living in a world full of miracles. I am living in a world full of miracles. What do you think? What is your first impression? Write it down in the comments below. Press pause, and then after that, after you wrote it down, I tell you my version, what popped up in my mind while I wrote this. Here we go. Pause. We are living in a world of miracles. Everywhere, all around us, there are miracles. We cannot see it. Why? Because our brain is filled with fears, filled with stupid ideas, filled with thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. We cannot see clearly. How can we see clearly? How can we truly see again what's going on? We have to have a clear mind. We have to be calm inside. And this only starts with self-love. If we are always hunted down by fears, we will never see the miracles around us. Just one example, like in the book, the river of the water. What is water? Like in the other short story video, when I wrote this, when I was reading the short story, I told you about the water. How incredible water is. It's unbelievable. First of all, cheers. a liquid, completely invisible. What is this? Isn't this also wonder? Trees outside. If we would imagine that a tree would grow in 1 minute, we would say, wow, it's a miracle. But we do not regard it as a miracle as it stands here outside. Because it takes years and years and years to grow. And finally it's there. Must be normal. There are thousands, hundreds, thousands of them. Must be normal. So we are living in a world full of wonders, but we cannot see it. And this is what I thought while I was writing this short story. And back again to how we can see it again. If we feel self-love inside, if we like each other again, if we like ourselves again, if we do not like ourselves, how will we ever see something beautiful around us? How? We see the world how we see ourselves. If we think we are ugly, if we think we are stupid, if we don't like the appearance, if we don't like the way we talk, etc., etc., how can we see the world beautifully when we cannot even regard ourselves beautiful? Of course, we are humans. We have our ups and downs, of course. But we want to have a ground that it's, hey, I like myself. And this is very important. So, and I created a manual, it's called JOREL's Pyramid, how we can get back this energy, this self-love energy. We'll make a lot of videos, but this should be it for today. I just wanted to tell you the story and my impression and my thoughts behind while I wrote this story. We have to see it again, to feel it again. So, and if you like to read the story for yourself, the book is called In the Name of Hope. The link is in the description below if you like. Support the artist.
Do you wanna roll with me? I know you